I mean, genuinely, is there anything that Alpine is good at?
Oh, Alpine facing the wrong way.
Smoking. Yeah. That is big trouble for the 35 car.
Big impact into the wall for the two Alpines.
First, they lost pretty much every single good Formula 1 driver which they've ever had in their entire career. Then that Esteban Ocon situation happened.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Now, if I were in my car, I'd look at that space and go, well, that's too small. And then I'd go find another. But that's not what a French person would do.
And that's not even mentioning how slow the car is. Sometimes looking like a turtle, sometimes looking like a snail. It's awful. And well, of course, most recently, their Le Mans tragedy. Now, I can already predict the future. You're going to be looking like this. But Alpine, genuinely thank you for the video idea, because this is what your favorite racing category says about you. Now, I'm sorry to say, but if Formula 1 is your favorite motorsport category out of all of the motorsport categories that there are on this planet, then you're kind of a basic bitch. Let's be 100% true and 100% real just for one moment. You probably think Formula 1 is so great because they have the fastest cars. They're driving on the best circuits, the best aerodynamicists, the best drivers, the best everything. And therefore, you probably think that Formula 1 is the best motorsport. You can't watch any other motorsport that there is because it puts you to sleep, because drivers aren't sending it fully through corners.
What the fuck?
To you, probably Formula 2 Indycar isn't interesting because they're going slow around certain tracks. And don't even get me started on GT3 cars. In your minds, they're probably crawling like little children on all fours through the corners. That's how slow they are. But realistically, you've never probably even been in a motor race, go-karting, a normal car, and you're just watching Formula 1 as if you could be one of those drivers. Formula 1 being your favorite motorsport is your entire personality. You wake up in the morning and you're like, Formula 1. That's the only thing on your mind. Everything about your life. Formula 1, Formula 1, Formula 1. You're probably butthurt when Max Verstappen is winning every single race, and that's just pretty much what you are.
Max Verstappen wins. For Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen.
Formula 1 being your favorite motorsports category is like going into an art gallery and only looking at the most expensive painting. It might not be the nicest to look at, but the price tag's the biggest, so surely it has to be the best. That's what you think. You guys are also the type of people who diehard support a certain driver, and if they're either not in the race anymore because of a certain incident, or maybe their car's just blown up, or the team's doing bad a certain race or a certain year, then you're depressed for that entire race, entire day, and it's just a bit weird. Like, at the end of the day, you're watching them. Like, your sadness doesn't impact them whatsoever. Just grow up a bit. But let's not forget that there's a championship brewing up in Formula 1. If you want to see an actual battle, then I think you should probably like and subscribe. Otherwise, Verstappen will keep on winning. Now, just remember that I said this. WEC is great. A lot of things about it is interesting. The history is cool. The amount of movies that have been produced about it. Ford versus Ferrari, this versus the other. WEC, or like the Le Mans series and whatnot, that has impacted the world a lot. But that's not to say that people who primarily only watch WEC, or that is their favorite motorsport category, they have to be somewhat psychotic. The mental asylum is waiting for you, because you've gone a little haywire. The races in WEC, what, they're 6 hours, they're 12 hours, they're 24 hours, and if you're watching the entire race, a 6-hour race, that's like 6 hours of your entire day.
Well, no shit.
12 hours, you're getting actually brain damaged, psycho, everything. And then if you're staying up 24 hours to watch an entire race, you need to be checked out by some medical doctor, because that is not okay. Now, if you like WEC and you just watch the start of the race, the end of the race, see what's popping, then I understand. But there are definitely some people who watch the entire thing. They close themselves in their little dingy room, basement, cupboard, whatever you want to call it, and they're just eyes glued to that monitor, watching however many cars going around a certain track for 6, 12, 24 hours. It's a what are you doing with your life? Now, I don't know about you, but it isn't the easiest thing to even sit and watch through an entire Formula 1 race. That is if Max Verstappen is leading every single lap. And by the end of it, all we hear is Verstappen wins, Verstappen wins.
Max Verstappen wins.
Dutch anthem, Dutch anthem. It's just like, come on. That might be a tad boring. And WEC, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours of that, I'm not sure about that one. And that's not to say that it isn't cool to follow Le Mans and all of the other races, because it is. It's a cool series. But if you're staying up the entire night, the entire day, 24 hours to watch a single race, the doctors are probably waiting. Not even the doctors, the psych ward. Now, I love my fellow Americans. We need to build a wall, make America great again, free Trump, vote Trump, this, that, and the other. Just gonna say this again before I get shot. Americans, you guys are cool. I like you a lot. But you have to be somewhat delusional to say that Indycar is the greatest motorsport series on the planet. The clogs in your brain have to stop for a second whilst you're saying that, because your brain isn't computing what you're saying. Because everybody knows it's incorrect. If IndyCar is your favorite motorsport series, you probably think it's the best series on the planet. And guess what? You're probably American. You wake up with the American flag on your ceiling, and then you look to your side, American flag. You look on the floor, American flag. You look on the other side of the wall, it's a poster of Donald Trump, Make America Great Again. Kind of patriotic. Not a bad thing. But I think it's been proven that American drivers aren't the greatest compared to the rest of the world. I mean, just take a little snapshot and a look at Logan Sargent. The fact that fans of IndyCar will stand by this to the day they die. They think that IndyCar is better than Formula 1. The skill level, the echelons of drivers is much higher than what it is in Formula 1. But they're forgetting that retired Formula 1 drivers, bad Formula 1 drivers who get dropped, they go to IndyCar and they perform fantastically. Marcus Ericsson, Romain Grosjean doing alright, and so on and so forth. But the second that an IndyCar driver goes into Formula 1, it's like picking up a toddler from kindergarten, strapping him into a Formula 1 car and expect him to do good. Nothing ever good comes out of it. And how can IndyCar compare to Formula 1 when in IndyCar half the time you're only turning left and the cars are as fast or as slow as Formula 2 cars, which is a step down from Formula 1. So basically you're just automatically saying that IndyCar is similar to Formula 2 and not even comparable to Formula 1. But hey, IndyCar is one fun and entertaining series. Now, in some aspects, Formula E is pretty similar to IndyCar. Formula E drivers, if they try to get into Formula 1, they are awful. I mean, Nick De Vries, great at Formula E, and then you put him into a Formula 1 car, and bro is looking lost. Not even the Marauders map would be able to save him. But if Formula E is your favorite motorsport series, then you are 100% a vegan, a climate change activist, those sorts of people. You don't like the petrol engines of what an actual car is. You're disgusted by that. Somehow in your brain, you enjoy motorsport, but think that motorsport should be electric. That's like saying every single sprinter should be using a wheelchair. Usain Bolt, none of his records count. He needs a wheelchair, and that's how he can prove how good. Electric cars, is that what you enjoy? Half of the fun in motorsport is hearing those blabbering sounds of exhausts. The roar of the V12s, the V10s, even the V8s.
I shouldn't be up here.
And in Formula 1, the V6 hybrids right now, they're sounding like an old Dyson Hoover. And it's even worse when you go into Formula E, because the cars sound like nose hair trimmers. Honestly, an altogether awful series. I wish it never existed. And if it's your favorite, then there is something wrong with you. Electric car racing. Who thought about that? Who thought that was a good idea? Who signed it off? You definitely own a Tesla, and you definitely just walk around everywhere with climate change activist. Oh, Greta Thunberg is my goat. That is you. I will admit Monaco is entertaining to watch, and I will admit that the crashes are also quite funny, but that's it. If rally is your favorite motorsport category, honestly, you're a pretty chill person. You're not scared of anything, you're a warrior. You like to fight the battle, not the easy battles where you know you're gonna win. What's the point of fighting those? You like the hard battles. You think that you're just a tough guy, probably built, been in the gym since birth, and look fresh. Rally obviously being a very scary motorsport category to watch, you never know what you could expect. One race you could be winning, the next race you could be falling off a cliff, burning in flames. And it takes some tough people to watch that, because whenever there's a crash in, say, Formula 1, it's like, oh no, what happened there? He gets out the car looking fine, and then there's, oh, that was a dangerous crash. Where most of the time it's like a 20-mile-an-hour crash into an Armco barrier.
Oh my God!
But in rally, there are no barriers, there are no real safety features. There's a roll cage, maybe that can save you. But what won't save you is a tree going straight through your windshield and through your neck. The nobility, the bravery of everybody who likes rally has to be studied, because it's not like other racing series where people are in the grandstands far, far, far away from the action so that nothing can happen to them. NASCAR, I mean, there are barriers to protect you. But in rally, you're basically standing on the track. If that happens in other series, then there's a red flag. There's, oh my God, banished from the land. But rally? I mean, the fans are pretty much helping you on your journey. If your car is about to break down, they'll pat it down, help you out. If your car is flipped, they'll flip it over for you, because they are built as fuck and they're warriors. On some occasions, they're standing 2 centimeters away from the action, recording cars flying through the air sideways. Insanity. Respectable insanity. Moto GP. What a crazy and cool category to watch. The drama, the crashes, the overtakes, everything about it just looks phenomenal. But the thing about MotoGP and the MotoGP fans is that realistically, you just want to be a tad different to everybody else. Every other racing category has 4 wheels, is a car, but you have a bike. Why do you want to be different? Just be like everybody else and, you know, why'd you have a bike? If 4 wheels is as dangerous as it is, deaths upon death in pretty much every single category, and then you take away 2 wheels, make it even more unstable, you're rotating at like 60 degrees to make a couple corners, and you think, why? But if you prefer bikes to cars, then fair enough, you probably prefer MotoGP to every other racing series. Fair enough, I guess. NASCAR, NASCAR, NASCAR. If NASCAR is your favorite motorsport series, now number 1, you're probably either American, or 2, you were brought up by the film Cars. And honestly, the film Cars is a good summary for whatever NASCAR is. One of the first scenes in Cars just shows everything that you really need to know about NASCAR. Lightning McQueen every single corner turning left, whilst there's a massive crash ahead of him, behind him, everywhere on track. NASCAR might honestly be the perfect fit for, say, Logan Sargent. American driver, pretty much only Americans watch NASCAR. And plus, in NASCAR, you have to bump around a bit, draft here and there, and, well, there's a lot of bumping around. Whether it be with the barriers, wall riding corners, or whether it be bump drafting others, bumping others, crashing them out, Logan Sargent would be absolutely amazing at that, because his Formula 1 record isn't the cleanest. And neither is your typical NASCAR drivers. It might be all fun and games in NASCAR until there's a massive shunt, and then there's someone dead. People who like NASCAR like to see the destruction, like to see war on track. Whereas other racing series, it's all daffodils and dandelions. You make any contact with anyone, penalty. You make any contact with anyone, banned from the series. But in NASCAR, they welcome it. Just like a 120-year-old grandpa, he's probably welcoming death like an old friend and not a foe. And your typical NASCAR driver probably drives a diesel F-150 with puffs of smoke coming out of every single pipe that you possibly can. Now, to get into certain tiers of Formula 1, the echelons of drivers are probably the best at the top. But you all got to start somewhere, right? To get into Formula 1, you have to go through Formula 2, 3, 4, and obviously go-karting. The older you get, you probably progress through everything, and the younger you are, well, you obviously started go-karting. And if go-karting is your favorite series, number one, you're probably either a child. Number two, that's probably the only racing category you can go to. Number three, you're probably either a parent, or the most prominent one, number four, you're probably a pedophile. Because if you're deciding on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it is, to put on 7-year-olds racing and go-karting rather than watching an actual good motorsport race, well, I think there's something wrong with you. And usually I would say you should probably go see the doctor or go to the psych ward. No, no, no. For you, you need to be locked up like Christian Horner. You can never see the sunlight, never see the daylight ever again. Because at your whatever ripe age you are, for you to be watching children in go-karts, that's no.
Burkowski back where he was the first time, all over James Dean's car. He is actually side by side, front wheel to front wheels. He's pushing Dean around the track, and the transition is insane. The transition doesn't even make sense. How did he get away with that? And he's still in it. Burkowski dives onto Dean's door again. Here we go again. He is hungry for it. This kid wants his name on everyone's lips tonight.
Now, that was absolutely beautiful. The synergy of cars, the absolute synchronization of lead driver, chase driver, hitting every single point on the track that they're meant to hit. Oh, beautiful. Now, if drifting is your favorite category, you either follow the European series or the FD series, the American series. It's pretty much a 50-50 split. And unless your name is Dean, then you probably only race in one. Unless you're him and you get bored of one, go to the other, bored of the other, go to the other, because you're winning everything that there is to win. If drifting is your favorite series, then realistically, you're not really that interested in actual race cars going around tracks, but you're more interested in normal cars that you can buy and modify them to your heart's extent and whatever you want, and just go drifting around with your boys in the woods, in the whatnot, and do what you like. And then you get into drifting. You start watching certain people online, Adam LZ, Chelsea Denofa, you know, all in Formula Drift, and that's all cool. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if drifting is your favorite motorsport category, then realistically, you don't really care about going as fast as you probably can. You just care about the vibes and having fun in your own personal car. Watching the pros do it is somewhat inspirational. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to watch a Formula 1 driver drive a Formula 1 car and be inspired by that. What are you going to do? Boot up Assetto Corsa? It's not the same as watching Chelsea Denofa win FD and then going in your own, say, S13 and go whipping it around to somewhere. It's not the same. You can't. Drifting is just cool. The whole culture around it, Japan, America, Europe, all merged into one. It's just pretty cool. And last but not least, if GT cars or GT series, so GT3, GT4, if they're your favorite series, then I guess you just want to be somewhat relatable to the racing world. Because at the end of the day, you can just go ahead and buy a 911. You can buy a McLaren and just convert it, race it around the track. You can do all of that. But you can't do that with a Formula 1 car. Anyone who watches GT3, GT4, you wish that you were strapped into that car. You believe deep down in your soul that you could be in that race. And guess what? You think you would win that race. But little do you know, 3 seconds into the race, you'd be looking like this. Not so glorious now, is it? Hope you enjoyed the video. If you disagree or want to put your own opinions down in the comments about racing series and what you think people are, do that down in the comments right now. And whilst you're there, you might as well subscribe and like. Don't know why you wouldn't. Don't die, because then you can't watch my other videos and then the whole world's sad, I'm sad. It's just, why would you do that? Hope you have a safe and fantastic rest of your day, and peace.
That's all, folks.